Hello and welcome back into Pat's Latest. I'm your host, Mike Gambardella, and on today's episode, we go into the first player cut by your New England Patriots for the 2025 season. We take a look where Stefon Diggs ranks among the NFL's best wide receivers right now, and is there a case of NFL collusion going on while Robert Kraft speaks about what he expects from the Pats this year. Before we get into everything, make sure you go down and subscribe for the channel. Get in the comments and let us know what you think about what's going on with the Pats right now and where you see Stefon Diggs ranking amongst the top pass catchers in the NFL. Make sure you give us a like if you like what you hear, and make sure you go back and check out all of our old episodes after today's. We start first with that look at the first cut by the New England Patriots, and a little bit of a surprise as it is the international pathway player that put the Patriots at 91 players on their roster, one above the normal 90 for the training camp roster, and that is Williford Penei. Has been cut by the New England Patriots, the undrafted free agent out of Virginia Tech, becomes the Pats' first casualty off the roster this year. Actually racked up 3.5 sacks for the Hokies in his final collegiate season in 2024. And it kind of speaks to what Mike Vrabel and Elliott Wolf have been able to do along the defensive line. And obviously, it's Milton Williams and Christian Barmore will be the prize duo in the middle, but with another drafty Joshua Farma being there, a holdover in Jeremiah Farms, another undrafted free agent and Javari Ritzy, Isaiah Aiton, and Jaquan Roy also being in the mix, there is a fairly deep position group for the Patriots right now. And I think it just, again, speaks to what is taking place on this Patriots roster is that you feel so comfortable about it already that you're ready to move on from someone that you essentially had a check mark next to say, you can keep them there on their roster and see how they progress. They're able to make a call early, and I think that at least speaks to the depth and the talent that is on this Patriots roster, which I don't believe is something you could have said the past couple seasons. Speaking of depth and talent, we must look at where Stefon Diggs, who many assume will be the Patriots' number one option, and from contract alone, definitely puts him there. But I think it's fair to ask where Stefon Diggs would rank among the NFL's top wide receivers. And while it might be overarching to say, can a 31-year-old wide receiver do it at this level? It's more to say, where does he rank among the top? And I think it was an interesting exercise for us to look at what are the top 25 receivers in the NFL right now. And I think most can admit that Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, J, either way you want to put them, Jamar, JJ, Jetta, Jamar, you're going to have one and two. And either one, I think, is a fair answer right now. For me, CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, A.J. Brown would be the next ones up as the top five. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins, probably in that next wave. And then some couple aging veterans like Tyreek Hill, Mike Evans, Devontae Adams, as well as I would put DK Metcalf up in that group just from sheer talent. And perhaps Aaron Rodgers can turn back the clock one more time to put it up there. Then you look at young and up and coming wide receivers like Drake London, Brian Thomas, Terry McLaurin, while he might be a little bit older, finally get a chance to play with a top tier quarterback with Jaden Daniels last year. And then maybe a couple other younger guys, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith, who have had some quarterback issues or not been the top option respectively. And then also putting in guys like T. Higgins, Zay Flowers, Jackson Smith and Jigba, even DJ Moore, I think can put in that group. And one guy that I think a lot of people are high on after his tremendous rookie season, me perhaps not so much, but have to respect what he did on the field, and Lad McConkey being there as well. Then if you look at that close group of aging veterans on the next level of Brandon Ayuk, Cooper Kupp, and Chris Olave, that gives you 24 names right there. That I think can all be said would essentially be ahead of Stefon Diggs as long as healthy and ready to go. So Stefon Diggs could potentially be in that spot as a top 25 receiver if you have him up next. The question is, who are the guys that are biting at his heels to take that spot? And a guy that the Patriots were ready to offer that contract was Chris Godwin. Now, whether he's healthy or not is another fair question. Guys that are otherwise ready to take that top 25 spot: Jameson Williams for the Detroit Lions, which is getting a lot of preseason hype here. Rashee Rice, who missed the season, but should he have not had that injury, could he be in the position to get that spot? This is again looking at NFL wide receivers right now, not what they will be, not what they can be, what they produce for your roster right now. I think Marvin Harrison eventually will be in that top 20, top 10, and eventually top 5. But right now, based upon what he did as rookie, not there. That same could be said for top picks like Travis Hunter right now, as well as some older veterans like Debo Samuel, who's switching teams this year, Jalen Waddle, who has always played second fiddle to Tyreek Hill, or even someone like George Pickens, who has switched teams. So, again, I think cases can be made for everyone, but I think in the grand scheme, it puts Stefon Diggs in a spot where, yes, he can be in contention to be a top 25 receiver in this league, which means he would be a wide receiver one. You would say each team should have their top option, and perhaps that bottom 5 to 7 teams maybe don't have or haven't invested as much or not quite there yet to say this is our stud wide receiver one. But I think it is very important, especially if you look at all of the playoff teams that were there. You had a trusted option. You have that wide receiver one, wide receiver two, wide receiver three pecking order as well. And it is very important for the Patriots to make sure that they can count on someone like Stefon Diggs to step up, especially when they need it against those regular season games that are become so pivotal in making the playoffs in 2025. Looking back at a story that's kind of dominated some headlines while other sports seasons have wrapped up, NBA draft going on, has been this NFL collusion story that Pro Football Talk and others have kind of picked up on. Awful announcing. You could read the story there as well. There seems to be a lot going on, and per multiple sources, the NFL has shared on an annual basis salary data for every non player position. Now, what this means is that the NFL is sharing with other teams what coaches, what staff members, what trainers are making. That's from head coach to GM, area scouts, dietitian, athletic trainers, everyone. And they're sharing this information around the league. And what this means is that it's breaking down information by high to low, median, average for every job in the NFL. Now, while I think everyone kind of sees the NFL as this one giant corporation, you have 32 individual owners. These are individual entities. And because of this compilation and salary information that's being shared among these 32 essentially independent businesses, it can per se be looked at coordination or therefore collusion. And that's where the NFL is being put under scrutiny now. I think they are stopping this practice because it's being seen, hey, this is something you shouldn't be doing. I think, Roger Goodell is going to be thrown under the bus a little bit for this. And again, it's tough when you're part of the same league and when there's so much money on the table, things get put under the microscope a little bit more. I think you're going to see NFL and collusion, and you're going to have your eyes pop a little bit and say, what is going on here? I think these are things that will be ironed out. And when there is no salary cap for what owners are going to pay their support staff, it kind of helps them in a sense to keep prices down a little bit, that you don't have to go as far or guarantee money or go much on deals. Hopefully what this practice will do is essentially make sure fair market value is instituted and hopefully be a helpful thing for all staff members in the NFL and not just the players as well. Finally, we look at Robert Kraft and his comments about the past few years as the owner of the New England Patriots, which have not been great. And we know this as fans as well, unfortunately. We've had to live through it. The Pats are just 16-35 over the past 3 years, and that is a far cry for what we got essentially became accustomed to for 20 plus years. Robert Kraft speaking on what is going on And a great quote by saying, the last 2 years were the worst years of my 31 years of ownership. And I don't think he's wrong in that regard. He's had a fantastic run, but said that, we have to change that. He went on to say we have a new coach in Mike Vrabel, who's really connected with the players, who's doing great work. I have a young quarterback and a lot of great veterans, free agents. Again, speaking to the work that Elliott Wolf, Mike Vrabel have done, free agent veterans who have come in, as well as a great draft class. And I think a little bit telling that he's quick to point that out as well, where things have not gone so much to plan. But again, Robert Kraft, is going to trumpet his own product, but I think someone who at least takes ownership up front and says things haven't gone the way that we want, and hopefully we are changing for the better. And he ended that press conference by saying, "We're going to have fun this year, I promise." Robert, I truly hope you can hold up your end for that promise from what we've seen early in minicamp and everything else so far. It will be a much different New England Patriots team that will be on the field, that will hopefully be at least in contention for a wild card spot in the NFL in this postseason. And if they can at least keep the Buffalo Bills honest in the AFC East and not have another runaway stampede with it, I think many New England fans would be very happy about that fact. That'll do it for us here on this episode of Pat's Latest. Again, make sure you go down in the comments and let us know what you think about where the Patriots rank with their wide receiver run, and will Stefon Diggs be that guy for the Pats? Make sure you give us a like if you liked what you hear, and go back and check out all of our old episodes so you can stay up to date on everything New England Patriots. We'll continue to have it for you right here. Fight on, Foxborough.